Hey, I'm Peter Franson from christiangeekcentral.com and Spirit Blade Productions. Merry Christmas, or at least I wanted to talk about this Christmas topic as early as possible since some of these things might take a little time to enjoy in your Christmas season if you choose to engage with them, but I wanted to give you my top 5 Christmassy video games. So these would be video games that I personally enjoy playing that also have some or can have some kind of a Christmassy element in them. These are games that I tend to, most of them, I tend to get out, even if they've been untouched for a while. I tend to get them out, install them during the Christmas season, just to get a little bit of my Christmas going on with my gaming time. They're ranked from 5 to 1. One being like my most Christmassy video game that honestly, my number one. I think every year I have to play it now. But anyway, yeah, so coming in at number 5 would be Fallout 4, which specifically, although you can, of course, download mods even on console to get some more Christmassy stuff in there, if the in-game date is December, I think it's 24th and or the 25th, then Diamond City, one of the main cities that you travel in, gets lit up with a bunch of Christmas decorations, Christmas lights. It's only there for this short window of time, so it would be so easy for many players to miss it. That's why I would recommend just doing a mod search, just putting Christmas in the mod search, and there's at least a couple of mods there that basically allow you to turn that on and just keep those decorations up all the time. You can also eventually learn to craft Christmas decorations, little Christmas trees with lights on them, maybe a couple other things. It's pretty limited, but you can definitely put some Christmassy things in your settlements once you kind of get to that part of the game. And of course, again, with mods, all kinds of other opportunities open up as well. But Fallout 4 just barely makes its way onto this list as one that I've really enjoyed the optional Christmassy elements if you know how to access them. My number 4 is 2 games that share this spot, and that's Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise, mostly because these are just some of my favorite games of all time. But if you get a layered armor, a cosmetic armor, that's called the Orion layered armor, it comes in a default light blue and white color, but you can change the pigmentation so that it's red and it looks very much like Santa Claus-y types of clothing. You know, I mean, you can really get a great Christmas vibe. It even has like little bells, Christmassy bells. I don't know why it's called Orion. That doesn't make any sense to me. But I have a whole loadout to make my hunter look very festive, very Christmassy, and I wear that cosmetic loadout for like about a month and a half straight, starting right after Thanksgiving, all the way into, just the very beginning of January, I suppose. I cut myself off then. But I think you have to wait till the post-campaign to get access to it. Anyway, I'll let you do your own research, but the armor is called Orion Layered Armor. It has the same name in both Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise, but that certainly gives... Oh, and Monster Hunter Rise also has like a nice icicle-type sword and shield that you can use that also just puts the finishing touches on my design in a way that I really enjoy. So anyway, yeah, that's Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Rise at number 4 for the Orion Layered Armor. Number 3, this is a new game to me this year, and that's Still Wakes the Deep. This is by the Chinese Room. It's about a 6-hour game. I reviewed it earlier this year. It's on Game Pass right now, I love it because it has all these inspirations clearly coming from John Carpenter's The Thing and H.P. Lovecraft, but it also has like a great story with a character the character you're playing is very flawed, but also I'm kind of rooting for him and his character arc, and to really go through some of that moral transformation that he really needs to go through, coming to an understanding of taking responsibility for his actions instead of blaming other people for things that he has ultimately done. There's a side character that is maybe the only favorable portrayal of a Christian I've ever seen in a video game. That's really a welcome surprise in this game. But I mean, all those other elements are what I really come to it for, and it takes place during the Christmas season. And so as you're exploring this rig that has struck something deep in the ocean and caused horrible monstrosities to come up out of the depths, In the midst of that, there are Christmas decorations up in several rooms that you're going through, and so it definitely has some nice Christmassy vibes in the midst of the absolute disturbing horror throughout. Anyway, so you can check out my review for that for more. I normally don't play scary games at all, and this one isn't too scary. It's more like unsettling. So still, it wakes the deep. Definitely worth checking out, especially if you already have Game Pass. Number 2 on my list. Oh man. Great game. Spider-Man Miles Morales. And the most Christmassy elements for this game are in the opening sequence, which is a really, I mean, man, I think I could just play that much of the game. Just install it, play that much every year, and be really happy. But I mean, there's also, it's a wintry, snowy New York, and there are some other little Christmas elements that are in side quests, and of course there are decorations you can run into, just peppered throughout. So it's got some really nice Christmassy vibes, and it's short enough that it could be completed, at least the main story, kind of over the course of your Christmas season. If you're playing it among other games for over the course of a month, I think it's very doable. I'm kind of in a rhythm where I each year I play the main story for 1 year, and then the next year I go back and I fill in, like doing extra quests and stuff and all the optional unlocks. And then currently, last year I didn't finish it. I got about halfway through a playthrough of the main story again, so I'll probably pick up the main story again this year and see how far I get into it. But kind of alternating back and forth each year. It's a great seasonal game for me. And then finally, my number 1. Oh my gosh. It's a DLC for Saints Row 4 called How the Saints Save Christmas. It only takes, I want to say, it's surprisingly short each time I play it. I think it's got 3 missions, and total it probably takes an hour or so maybe to play. But I mean, in a game that is all about these just like crass and ridiculous gang members going on I mean, the whole series just jumps the shark with with Saints Row 4 in some great ways, and then also some ways that it's like, okay, I can understand why they rebooted the series. But you get to kind of, I don't know, travel through time. You're in this Matrix-like simulation, all of Saints Row 4 anyway, so you have these crazy superhero types of powers. But this mission to save Santa is so ridiculous because it's delivered to you first by a time traveler from the future, totally aping on the Terminator plotline, saying, listen, if you don't save Santa, then, like, I don't know, machines are going to take over. Something ridiculous. But it's just that juxtapositioning of this ridiculous, kind of gruff, juvenile, crass gang leader that you're playing as, actually caring about Santa. Well, at first maybe not caring about Santa, but eventually caring about Santa. The way that they kind of like lampoon the Christmas specials that you probably grew up with as a kid, and bring some of those kinds of stereotypical elements into this totally inappropriate setting of like gangs and guns and stuff and off the wall craziness. It has to be played to be appreciated. Thankfully, Saints Row 4, like the whole collection, I think it comes with everything, all the DLC and everything, is often on a deep discount. In fact, I haven't checked to see if it's on the current Black Friday sale, but if it's not, it'll almost certainly be part of their big winter sale. Usually, if you can get the whole thing for, I don't know, like $5 or some dumb price like that. And for that, I mean, it'll take you a little while to play to the point of the game where you can play this DLC, but I mean, I think it's stupid, goofy fun. If you like open world, open city type games, then I think it's worth at least considering doing your research. Anyway, don't take my word for it. But that is definitely what I like to play each year. Saints Row 4, How the Saints Save Christmas. And part of it, I think, is because it's going after the saccharine and the sweet that so much of Christmas, especially secular Christmas, is really scratching after. And I used to really be repelled by the secular elements of Christmas, or like the secularized Christmassy specials and movies and stuff like that, until a few years ago I realized, you know what, everybody that's making those kinds of holiday specials, liking those kinds of Christmas specials, liking this vision of yesteryear that really didn't exist, but in our minds it's more beautiful than it actually was when we lived it, or when other people lived it, if it's before our lifetime. We go after the saccharine, we go after the sweet because ultimately we're not satisfied with this world. There's just crappy things about this world. This world is not safe, and we just kind of long. There's part of us that longs for this sweeter, safer, more beautiful, happy world that doesn't deal with all the crappy realities that and disappointments in life that we face every day to varying degrees. And so I think if we realize that actually there's a heart cry for the kingdom that Jesus is promising to bring, that's actually playing out in these kinds of like nostalgic Christmassy type things, personally, I found like a great amount of meaning that has been unlocked in engaging with even those types of experiences that maybe have nothing to do with Jesus, but are just about snowmen or whatever, because I see in it the heart cry of humanity for a better world that we don't have, and just wishing and wanting and dreaming of that. And of course, as believers, we have reason to actually hope and know that that is coming. We have very good reasons to believe that. So something maybe worth thinking about and reminding yourself of this Christmas season as you see all this ridiculous saccharine nostalgic stuff that can be so empty and substanceless, but what it's calling out for, what it's scrambling for desperately, that's hidden from the veneer, is something that we can understand and resonate with. Anyway, blah blah blah. I'm talking way too much. I want to hear what your favorite like Christmassy type games are. There's probably a ton, because they're not my type of game or whatever, that I haven't mentioned here, haven't even thought about. Leave those in the comments or let me know some other way. I would love to hear that from you. Anyway, talk to you later. Merry Christmas.